So hello everyone. Today I'm going to talk about why and how I changed my academic field from physics to neuroscience. So I am a master of physics. I completed my master's from IIT Guwahati in May 2021. And during my master's, my interests sort of shifted from things to people, so to speak, or from sort of particles to consciousness or human experience, because I realized that whatever I had studied in no equations appeared the inner quality of our experience. So there was no human element in any of what I was studying. And at the same time, I was watching these YouTube debates and TED Talks and podcasts. These conversations, long conversations between psychologists and neuroscientists and philosophers and this and that. Particular conversation I remember was a debate between Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson on religion versus rationality, something like that. There are many of them actually. Yeah, I was listening to these people like Steven Pinker, Neil deGrasse Tyson, and Yuval Noah Harari, and from the left and right, Paglia, and Dana Fleshman, Louis Perry, Ayla Girl, etc., etc. And slowly my interest sort of shifted to human mind and behavior. That was also COVID time, actually. It happened during my first year and second year of Master of Physics. And I was, because of COVID and all, I actually was not doing the maths that was required in physics. So I remember the professor of ours at Guwahati saying that if you don't do math, then you won't enjoy physics, or you actually don't deserve physics. There's math involved in physical problems, and it's really hard, and you have to go through that hard work to do that math. Then only you can appreciate the intuitive picture of the universe, so to speak. Even Richard Feynman had some things similar. And there are no miracle people. Everyone is ordinary person who works hard to understand the problem and sort of come up with useful predictions. Like that's how science goes. But my interests were slightly shifting, and so I was sort of reading and listening more on human mind and behavior than I was reading on particles, differential equations, or galaxies and black holes. Although I later I went on to teach astrophysics, two courses in astrophysics, astronomy at Ashoka University. I was teaching undergrads. Before that, for 1 year, I was just that was COVID year. I was just preparing for sarkari naukaris, as banking and ATC and lab assistant and this and that. Although not focusing on anything. Um, and then I accidentally got selected in Ashoka, so I spent a year there. At Ashoka, although I was teaching physics, I realized there are courses in psychology and neuroscience. So I just asked the professor and I attended those courses. And my boss also encouraged me to come back to academia instead of preparing for these sarkari naukaris. So that gave me a little confidence, and I applied for PhD program in neuroscience. I did not have NET, GET, ICMR, DBT or anything, although I had qualified JGBILS through which I appeared for PhD interviews in NCBS and in STEM. There is a joint interview for both these institutes, which are next to each other. Actually, it's kind of the same campus. I got selected there. I also applied to IISc, neuroscience, as well as the artificial intelligence program, the brain and artificial intelligence program. Now it is called brain computation and data science program. I got selected at NCBS in STEM and Center for Neuroscience at IISc. Just with my DST Inspire tentative offer. So I have been DST Inspire scholar during my BSc and MSc for 5 years. So every year I was getting 60,000. And if you have been an Inspire scholar for 5 years and you score like more than 80% or at least 80% during your masters, then you're eligible to apply for Inspire PhD fellowship. I have made an entire video on that. Maybe I'll share the link here. So I could apply for DST Inspire. I also cleared JGBILS, through which I appeared for NCBS. Here also in IISc application, I mentioned JGBILS, but once you mention some external fellowship like DBT, CSIR, or DST Inspire, then IISc is going to take just that as your mode of entry, because they don't they don't have to pay you then. And yeah, so here I am currently a third year DST inspired PhD fellow at the Center for Neuroscience at Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, and it has been interesting. So finally, so currently I'm working on meditation. That's going to be my PhD thesis, how long-term practice of any style of meditation sort of changes your body and brain in some sense. So I measured brain activity of people using electroencephalography, some 64 electrodes on your head, and we also measure things like skin conductance and heart rate and respiration and eye movement and these physiological parameters to look at how it changes in meditators and sort of control subjects who don't do any meditation regularly. And it has been interesting. Even if you don't, on a particular day, if you don't like your narrow field of your PhD work, you come back in the evening in your hostel, at your dinner, at Sarvam, at common places. You meet friends from different cultural and academic background, and it's never boring. You get to talk to people. There are many talented, interesting individuals around, and you make good friendships. You play sports. And enjoy all the societies and clubs in whatever free time you have, and it's a nice experience. The only concerning thing about PhD, particularly in Tata Institute or IISc, is that on average it takes more than 5 years, sometimes even 7 years. There are many people in their sixth year and seventh year, and there are people who are in their eighth year and even ninth year. So and then in the later years you don't get paid that much, or you don't get any money in some cases. So if you need to support your family, that's a little negative news. Uh, Otherwise, I would say it's a good way to spend your youth solving a particular problem, going deep in scientific problem that you're interested in, and getting talk to smart, intelligent, mature people and make long-lasting friendships. So yeah, I have enjoyed my shift from physics to psychology and neuroscience. I also happen to be interested in evolutionary psychology, although it's a very controversial field, and I need to know more about Darwinian way of looking at things. My close friends criticize that I also fall in the pitfalls of controversial, wrong evolutionary explanations for human behavior. And so, for example, I'm interested in sex differences. How is it that on average men and women have different preferences, they think differently, they feel differently. That is again a very controversial topic, particularly in the disciplines of sociology and feminism and etc. So nonetheless, studying about human behavior and human mind and brain is interesting, believe me. There are so many topics to explore here, things like illusion and cognition and cognitive biases, meditation, consciousness, and even fundamental basic neuroscience, molecular and cognitive. So it's a really interesting field, although some people believe that the field is kind of stuck. There is no fundamental breakthrough in the field. That's what Professor Mukul at NCBS told me, that there is so many fMRI and imaging studies, and there's nothing totally new coming out of it. It's just analyzing more and more patterns, which might be true actually. But you never know. A field is stuck for a few years, and suddenly some breakthrough happens, and things move at a great rate. And now, particularly when the artificial intelligence revolution is just sort of happening, how that, if it's coupled with human behavior, which it is, right? We are interacting with technology more and more. Like currently, I'm recording a video. We are on smartphones. We are talking to ChatGPT, or a lot of AI algorithms. And in the very in near future, you might have friends who are like robots basically, or AI girlfriend or AI boyfriend. So how that influences your brain and behavior uh, is a very interesting question to think about. So, and I would say studying about basic neuroscience and brain and mind and human behavior gives you a little edge on how you should interact with these technologies. So because it's risky actually, even the way social media has been, mm, in some sense, modulating our the way we spend our time on screens is just fascinating to me. I have been addicted to it, and now I'm kind of trying to be away from all social media except WhatsApp. But it's just fascinating how the smartest people in our generation are just trying to, hack human attention, hijack human attention, and so that you can spend more and more time on the screen. It's just it sounds really bad to me that very smart people are just trying to, increase your screen time. Anyway, these are problems. I deviated from the topic a bit, but yeah, I think I told you about why I changed the field, because my interest shifted from things to human behavior and human mind. And how I did it, I had these inspired PhD fellowship. You can have CSIR, GATE, NET. In fact, with GATE physics or GATE chemistry or CSIR chemical science or GATE mechanical engineering or even GATE psychology, you can join a PhD in neuroscience. It's very interdisciplinary field. Any BTech, any MSc person, even MA psychology or MA philosophy person or MA or MSc mathematics and computer science people are welcome to join neuroscience. Actually, many of people in my department actually come from electrical engineering background or biomedical bioengineering background and physics and psychology background. So it's interdisciplinary, and if you're interested, you're welcome to join it. All the best. If you have questions about DST Inspire PhD fellowship or changing fields, NetGet, etc., you can put them in the comments, or you can email me. I'll share my contact details and my blog in the description link. So all the best. Bye.